All right, we are a go on Twitter, and now we're waiting for YouTube to jump in. I think we're good to go. So we'll start off the show. There we go. This is Winning Cures Everything. I'm your host, Gary Seegers. Today is Wednesday, January the 16th. You can follow me on Twitter at GaryWCE. You can follow the show, winningcureseverything.com. We've got everything over there, picks, previews, stories, videos, etc. You can subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, any of your favorite podcast apps. Go on and check that thing out. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Winning Cures. Let's get into the rundown of the show topics. We're going to talk about the first meet and meetup, the live show for Winning Cures Everything at Hollywood Casino down in Tunica. We're going to talk Jalen Hurts to Oklahoma. We're going to talk Tate Martel to Miami. Travis Scott called Colin Kaepernick before accepting the Super Bowl offer. I'm going to talk about why that was ridiculous to even happen. And then Lil Penny is back. And then we're going to give you 7 college basketball picks for tonight. I went 2-3 last night. 2-3. And I'm just floored at how I continue this abysmal run, right? So I was 17-24-1 before last night. That puts me at 19-27-1 over the past week. Last Wednesday is when the skid started, so I'm hoping that tonight is when the skid stops. That's my hope. So let's jump into Jalen Hurts to Oklahoma. It's a good move. It's a really good move, I think. Lincoln Riley has proven that he can take a really good quarterback and make him great, right? Kyler Murray at Texas A&M under Kevin Sumlin was not great. And granted, he was a freshman then. But, you know, Baker Mayfield was not what he was until he went and played for Lincoln Riley. Kyler Murray was not what he was until he went and played for Lincoln Riley. Jalen Hurts was already an SEC Offensive Player of the Year at Alabama. Imagine what he will turn into in this offense. I think it's a great move for him. I think it's going to be fantastic. The other side of this, one, the expectation level. I mean, the first 2 transfer quarterbacks that have gone through Lincoln Riley's system, both won Heismans. Both made it to the playoff. Neither won, but now you got a guy with playoff experience that has won in the playoff. We'll see what happens. Oklahoma is blocking Austin Kendall, the quarterback that was there, that was neck and neck with Kyler Murray. They are blocking him from being a grad transfer to play immediately at West Virginia. Now, I understand this. It makes sense, right? I mean, it's a rule that did not change. The terms are still that teams can block certain players from certain schools. In this case, Oklahoma, it would be a competitive reason. The rule did not change when transfer reform was instituted in October of last year. What Oklahoma is doing is blocking him from any team that it plays over the next 2 seasons. So that makes sense. Kendall has 2 years of eligibility remaining. He could play immediately at West Virginia, and he would be somebody that Oklahoma would have to go up and play against. Kendall knows everything about Riley's system. He could put that in for Neil Brown at West Virginia and immediately become successful, right? I think it's a little bit hypocritical. I don't think that grad transfers should be told where they can and can't go to school. And I would imagine that Kendall, if he really wants to go to West Virginia, will put in a waiver, and he will request that the NCAA grant him immediate eligibility anyway. This makes Oklahoma look terrible. Terrible. Now, I don't know why you would do it if you've already got Hurts coming in. If Kendall was not good enough to win your job, and you were going to bring in a grad transfer, what does it matter? If you don't think the kid is good enough to start for you, then why are you letting him go? And if he is good enough to start for you, why are you bringing in Jalen Hurts? Like this, I guarantee you that this deal was done with Hurts to bring him into play. He's not going to go somewhere he's not going to start immediately. So if Kendall was not going to be your starter, it shouldn't really matter. Now, back in the day, coaches used to be able to do this all the time. Bill Snyder had a list of, 30 or 40 teams that one of his kids couldn't go play for. It was just ridiculous. So they used to do this kind of stuff to block kids to where they couldn't transfer out and ever play against you. Do we really think Oklahoma and Alabama might not play in the playoff again next year? I think that's a possibility. It's a strong possibility. But Alabama was not going to block Jalen Hurts from going wherever he wanted to go. He could have gone to Auburn. It wouldn't have mattered. Lincoln Riley, I think, looks small in this position. He should just let the kid go do his thing. College sports is about the players. If you want it to be about the business, you got to do something different. You got to make it a different model. But they're not going to make it a different model. It's about the money. You got to make it about the kids. Let the kids do what they want. They continue to bring in the money to the universities. I'm in with it. So let's move on from there. Let's talk about Tate Martel, another transfer. He's going from Ohio State. He announced yesterday he's going to Miami. He lawyered up immediately. Now, I thought last night when I originally read the news that he was just going to Miami to play. He was going to sit out this year, and he would be eligible to play the next season. So in the 2020 season, he would be the starting quarterback, and they got to work with N'Kosi Perry or somebody this year. Not the case. Tate Martel is filing a waiver to play immediately, and he's going to try and use the Ohio State coaching change as the reason why. Everybody knows the reason why is Justin Fields, right? Fields got brought in. He's going to be the starter. He's got a better chance of gaining immediate eligibility. So Martel is going to go where some of his buddies are, where he has a chance to play right now. It makes perfect sense. But I don't – if they allow Tate Martel, the NCAA, if they allow him to play immediately, they need to just do away with the waiver process. Let kids transfer wherever they want to and play immediately. Because right now it doesn't matter. You can come up with any cockamamie reason why you want to go play immediately, and they will end up granting it. The thing that has changed over the past few years is kids used to not lawyer up. They used to not hire attorneys to do this for them. And now that the NCAA sees that they can have legal ramifications from blocking a kid from playing immediately if he's transferring from a bad situation, they're having to grant eligibility to everybody. Tom Mars jumped on this as soon as it started, right, with all the Ole Miss stuff. Once that all started and people realized, man, we can go play anywhere at any time, and we don't have to sit out, even though the rule says we do. At that point, everything changed. Everybody is transfer. It's the wild, wild west. If you don't like where you are, you just pick up and leave. And I don't know that it's better or worse. I'm not going to judge one way or the other. Like, I liked the system the way it was because you understood the ramifications if you were going to leave. If you were going to leave, you had to sit out a year. If you lost your job, you were at least sitting out a year if you were going somewhere, or you just sit and you work through it, right? Jalen Hurts last year, if he transferred out, he was sitting out a year. Instead of sitting out a year, he worked his rear end off, fought through adversity. He got a big chance in the SEC championship game. Alabama fans are always going to love that kid for what he did. That's just the truth. That's the way it goes. So I don't know what Tate Martel does here, but if the NCAA allows him to play immediately, just do away with the waiver rule. There's no purpose in it. It makes no sense. All right, topic number 3, Travis Scott called Colin Kaepernick. Now, this is per Variety. Called Colin Kaepernick to discuss him being on the Super Bowl halftime show before he did it. Now, Scott was not the first choice. Scott came in after, let's see, let me find the list. Cardi B, Andre 3000, Mary J. Blige, Usher, Nicki Minaj all declined the Super Bowl offer. Now, these are all people of color, and they all said no because of the unfair treatment by the NFL. Explain this to me. The NFL has more black athletes that make millions of dollars than any other league in the country. How is that unfair treatment? The Kaepernick stuff is so overblown, And I'm not one to get political, but I am so tired of hearing about it. The Travis Scott thing where he called Kaepernick to talk about it, and apparently they disagreed on a lot of it, but ended up coming to an understanding. So they say, an understanding. But they came to this understanding, and Jay-Z and Meek Mill and Reverend Al Sharpton all tried to talk him out of doing the Super Bowl because of the unfair treatment to Colin Kaepernick. Look, the NFL ended up making a donation to, and I think it was Dreamscapes or Dream something, some charity that Travis Scott also donated to, so that he would actually do the show. But I don't understand it. When did the Super Bowl become a not cool thing to play? I mean, you've got 100 million viewers that are going to sit and watch you. There are millions of people out there that have never heard of Travis Scott, that have no idea who he is other than he's involved with, and I think I've got this right, I don't know, Adam from Steve or whatever, but I think he's involved with the Jenners, if I'm not mistaken, and this guy somehow maybe thought that he was too big to play the Super Bowl, or he was big enough to not have to. You're getting in front of 100 million people. Why is that a bad thing? I don't care what it does for your credibility. Anybody that is involved in a Super Bowl halftime show, their numbers skyrocket immediately after. If you are in a capitalistic society, which we are, that's what the United States is, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You got to jump on that. Yet for Cardi B, who is already pretty big but could be even bigger, Andre 3000, Outkast, already really big. He's basically retired from music. Mary J. Blige, she's huge, but again, numbers could skyrocket. It can bring her back to the forefront. Usher, same thing. Nicki Minaj, same thing. Explain this to me. Somebody. I just don't understand how this works, why this works. I get so frustrated hearing that an opportunity that millions of artists would die for, people are turning down. And then Travis Scott wanted to call somebody to make sure it was okay before he did it, to make sure his credibility would remain intact. Give me a break. Give me a break. All right, topic number 4, Lil Penny's back. Lil Penny, Penny Hardaway, got on the Get Up morning show, the ESPN show with Mike Greenberg, maybe that's it. I don't remember. God bless. It's been so long since I watched that show. But for Mike and Mike. So Mike and Jalen Rose and whoever else, but Penny Hardaway jumps on there, and they're talking about Memphis and Tennessee and Memphis basketball and all this, and Penny brings up that Lil Penny is making a comeback. Now, I don't know how they're going to do this, right, because Penny was a Nike property, or Lil Penny is. So they got to get permission from Nike. Are they going to bring him back just for, like, Memphis ticket sales? I mean, it's kind of late in the game to be doing that. Are they going to bring him back for just in-game entertainment? Maybe the late recruiting period for basketball? I don't know what they're going to do. And if they do it, you got to bring back Chris Rock, right? You got to let him do his Lil Penny voice. He's got to be able to do the thing. I would imagine it's going to be something about building up, how the Memphis program is building, and Penny's going to be, getting in shape and working out. So I can't wait to see it. I think Lil Penny is fantastic. I am excited about it. Lil Penny was always one of my favorite characters growing up. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Let's jump into the college basketball picks. We got 7 picks tonight. Again, overall on the season, I am 42-37-1. That's a 53.16% winning percentage. You can always find the picks over at winningcureseverything.com/gambling-picks, or just go to winningcureseverything.com. The gambling picks section is right up there on the navigation bar. Let's jump into them. I'm trying to get off the skid. I will off the schneid. Let's do this. Game number 1, I got Oklahoma minus 5.5 against Kansas State. Oklahoma's 12-2 against the spread this year. They're 6-1 against the spread at home. The metrics have got Oklahoma minus 8.5 or 9. I think I like this here. Kansas State, good basketball team, defensive-minded, but I think Oklahoma, they typically play much better at home. Kansas State plays much worse on the road. I'm going to roll with Oklahoma here. Game number 2, same game, but I'm going the under 130. So the metrics have a game total of 124. These are two great defensive teams, and I would imagine if Oklahoma gets up early, Kansas State will be fighting back, and Oklahoma and both of them will be locking down on defense. So under 130 is the play on Oklahoma, Kansas State. Game number 3, Missouri +1 against Alabama. Missouri is winless in conference play so far, but they are much better at home. They've played a difficult schedule. Alabama coming off of a tough buzzer-beater loss at home to the worst team in the league, Texas A&M. Alabama is 4 points worse on the road than they are at home. Missouri 4 points better at home than they are on the road. Missouri's 4 points better on offense and 4 points better on defense. Same thing for Alabama. It's almost right down to it. And the line opened up Missouri -1, and everybody has been betting Alabama to the point that it's Alabama -1. So I'm taking Missouri as a home dog. I think they're going to win the game. I like Missouri. Drake +3.5 at Bradley. All my metrics say that Drake should be favored. Drake is 12-5 on the season. They have been tested harder than Bradley. Bradley's still getting some home loving, but they are getting a lot of love for a win that they had early in the season over, I think, SMU or somebody like that. I cannot remember off the top of my head, but Bradley I don't think is as good. I like Drake +3.5 here. Game number 5, Houston, a pick'em at SMU. SMU's played pretty well once they've gotten into conference play. Houston is a much better team, though. A lot of money coming in on Houston right now, on SMU. Houston was a 1-point favorite. All of my metrics have Houston -4 here, so I'm going to roll with Houston. Game number 6, South Dakota State at North Dakota. I'm going under 156.5. South Dakota State and North Dakota both, they can actually play defense. Now, they can get into scoring contests when they need to, but both of these teams like to lock down on defense. If either one of them gets a lead, they will sit on that thing, and the pace of play will become nothing, right? I like the pace of play here. I'm liking the under 156.5. And finally, UConn at Tulsa. I'm going over 139 here. This is another pick'em game. Tulsa, okay. UConn, okay. This is one of those games where if one team gets up by 4 or 5 points towards the end of the game, this can become a foul festival. I think that we will get a ton of foul shots in this one. I think we're going to go over the 139. Both teams will be in the 70s. I like that play a lot. So, as always, you can go over to winningcureseverything.com, check out the gambling picks page, and the picks will be up there every day. They're already there, as a matter of fact. So you can go check that out whenever you're ready. If you will, subscribe on YouTube. I appreciate all of you guys for coming in, checking out the daily show. We are doing the meet and greet, the meetup at Hollywood Casino this Sunday, January the 20th. We're going to be there around 11 o'clock in the morning, 11:30 in the morning. We will go live at 12:30. We'll be right here on YouTube and on Twitter. So go on and check that thing out. I think we're probably going to go live on Facebook as well. We'll see what happens with that. But either way, we're doing it for the NFL Conference Championship games. So everybody come out. There's food and drink specials. It's going to be a good time. We're setting up on the stage bar, which is right next to the sports book. It's going to be a good time. I hope all of you can make it out. Again, we'll be there around 11 or 11:30. We're going live at 12:30. We want to shake everybody's hands, have a good time. We hope you can make it out to Hollywood Casino this Sunday, January 20th, around 11:30 a.m. The live show starts at 12:30. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe Apple Podcasts. Go check out the picks, winningcureseverything.com. We will see you guys tomorrow. Twitter, we appreciate you. Thank you for